Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Let's make sure we are live.
Have you got your echo cancellation turned off, mate?
No, let's find out. I just switched browsers, so may have
Yeah, I
just
don't think
turn
you
it
have
off.
because you're sounding a bit fuzzy. There you go. Just heard you flick across.
There we go.
Yep, that's much better.
Okay, looks like we are live. Let's close out of the YouTube. All right.
Hello, Harshid. And hello, Harshid. We've got two listening. Very good.
I'm sure one of them was me. Hello, Harshid. Yes, welcome. Okay, well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the 66th episode of the Blind Tech Guys podcast. My name is Nimer, and today we are recording on our new time, hopefully to make it easier for people to participate in the U.S., although probably making it harder for some other places. Unfortunately, there's no perfect time zone. Today is December 27th, day after Boxing Day here in the States, and December 28th, and who knows what day it is when you're actually listening to this. I'm very glad that you are here with us today. I am in California, where it is about 60, 65 degrees, somewhere around there, 15, 16, 17 degrees. A very nice day today. And I'm joined today by a new podcaster. We got rid of Marco. We said Kish Kish to him. He's no longer around. And we got a new person in here as a blind tech guy. And hello, new person.
Hello!
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Good to be here.
Good. How do you feel about replacing Marco?
Those would be big shoes to fill.
Oh, good, good. No, guys. No, I'm kidding. Marco's here. Hello, Marco.
Oh, hello, Nimer. Hello. Hello, Kirt. And hello, listeners.
Hey!
I'm here. Hello. Thank God for that. I haven't been replaced yet like Walker. Very good.
Yes.
And yes, it is indeed the 28th here, Nimer, and it's a pleasant enough day. I think it's about, 16 degrees here. It's quite nice. Not a bad day. Bit better than yesterday when we got up to well over 30. So, yes.
Wow, looks like we have 5 watching. Excellent. Now, as you're watching this, if you can, if you like the content that you're hearing, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button. Please hit that subscribe button. Feel free to comment. Feel free to visit our website, blindtechguys.com, and leave us feedback there. And I'm going to talk, we're going to talk about a number of things today, but really this is about getting to know our new podcaster and getting to essentially talk a little bit about our upcoming events. We have some celebrations coming up, and we have a giveaway that we are going to be talking about how you can win today. So be listening up for that. But I want to first start out with an apology to the community. And we started collecting some feedback on the form on our website. One of the pieces of feedback, and I think we've seen it once, possibly. So I've seen it once. I don't know if it's happened anymore. Somebody filled out a piece of feedback and stated that they felt like I was making fun of people, and they called me out specifically. So I am apologizing directly to anybody in the community who feels like they have been made fun of, because that is not the goal of Blind Tech Guys podcast. We, as I've said before, have an intention of being respectful and to respect you as a community and to be respected And that is kind of our goal. This is what we do, and we learn from you, and you learn from us, and we have a good time as a community. So if somebody is not feeling that, then I'm very sorry that that has happened to you. And I hope that you can feel comfortable enough to message us and talk to us about it and let us know what we've done that has offended you or what I've done that has offended you, because it's very hard to actually fix something that we don't know what happened. But I do want to apologize if anybody in the community has been feeling that way. And, we will be more cognizant of that. I think we just like to have some fun here, and sometimes maybe in the process of having fun, we end up seeming like we're making fun of somebody, and that is not our goal at all. And I just want to point that out there. And let's see, no more comments. So, hello, Kirt. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I live here in the United States as well, also in the great but quirky state of Utah. I have been passionate about technology for as long as I can remember. Recently moved over from iOS to Android. I still have my iPhone that I keep and use for those few things that it does, in my opinion, do a lot better, which those definitely exist. And recently, I had a lot of fun. Well, first, a lot of misery and disappointment and pain if anyone saw me in the Blind Android Users Facebook group after the Samsung TalkBack update, which took away our Braille keyboard and reverted us back to the Stone Age accessibility-wise. But I had a lot of fun actually figuring out how to go into the Android developer bridge, plug the phone into my computer, and type in commands from my computer that way to fix it and get rid of the Samsung TalkBack, put the Google TalkBack back in, and that's kind of what really got me interested into realizing I can actually do a lot with this stuff. So I'm happy to be here and talk tech with you guys.
Well, we're happy to have you, Kirt. That's interesting. So you've come across from iOS. How are you finding the transition over to Android?
It was a rough couple months because it seems like you have to figure stuff out more on your own here on the Android side, where on the iOS, you have the Apple this, you have a lot more of a tutorial and community. But that's actually when I first found the Anatad podcast and, was kind of a lurker listening to a few episodes there that were really invaluable in, getting me set up with TalkBack, realizing what was the same, what was different, what I'd have to do to make it work. But now a few months in, I feel pretty confident that I personally like the platform better. But, they're both good in their own ways. But yeah, I feel pretty comfortable on the Android side now.
I think it's one of those platforms, Kirt, that I'm sort of the same. When I came across in 2019, middle of 2019, I exclusively said that what I would do was I would devote a month solely on Android. So I still had my iPhone as well, but I just thought, well, the only way that I'm going to transition, because the two platforms are quite different, especially with the gestures and all that sort of stuff. But the only way you're going to do it properly is to really put in a bit of effort. And sometimes it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people come across, I think, thinking that it's rosier on the other side. It's like anything, though. If you go from one to the other, the grass is not always greener on the other side, so to speak.
No.
And I think a lot of people have to keep that in mind when they switch platforms, whether it be from iOS to Android or Android to iOS. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes it's better the devil you know. So I can completely sympathize and understand where you're coming from.
Gabe Vega wants to know where Warren is, and I have no idea where Warren is. I haven't been able to reach Warren. He has not responded to any messages of mine. He has removed me from his list and Marco from his list. And so if you can tell us where Warren is, that would be great. We have no idea. Warren, if you're listening, hello, where are you? We have no idea.
I assume he's
maybe his plastic phone broke.
Yeah, he might be at church. Don't know. Anyway,
I'm not sure. But anyway, he's no longer
I
part
assume
of
he's
this
in
podcast.
Washington.
Yeah, I think he's
So,
in Washington. He's no longer part of this podcast, though. And then, should he choose to return, he's welcome to come on as a guest. And but I think he is, shall we say, gone kish kish.
I knew you
So
were going to throw that Kish Kish in then.
yes,
Well, Kirt, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast, mate. I think with three people on a podcast, you just seem to bounce off each other a little bit easier. And yeah, it's great to have you on. And obviously, you know your tech, so we will definitely
thanks.
get
I'm glad to be
test
here.
you out. We're going to test you out, mate. I mean, you're in for a hard time over the next couple of weeks.
No pressure, huh?
So, Nimer, this has been an interesting, fairly quiet week tech-wise. We haven't got a huge amount of news, I don't think. Just had a quick hunt around. There's not a huge amount, obviously, going on over Christmas. Looking forward, I guess, to 2021 and just seeing this year out, mate.
yeah. When I think about the news of this year, there's been a lot of things going on, and I want to pass my condolences along to Nashville and the people of Nashville because that has certainly been in the news. The bombing there, and all the people that have little cell or no cell service. I'm very sorry for what has happened to you guys over there. And, as a community, I think we all feel that, and we're very sorry for that. And I think anything else that would have happened in the news this week probably wasn't very much. I know I saw some more leaks on, of course, the new Galaxy S20 or
Well, we're
S21
going to
or
keep
whatever
going
it
those
is.
for the
Pretty
next,
much the S20.
yeah, could be anything at this point. S30, 21, who knows? But,
Yeah, whatever they call it. Now, I know that the modem is going to be really good, and I think I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to be a huge amount new.
Well, I guess it's going to have a better
But
processor. They're banging on about that as well, so who knows? I
certainly a
guess,
better processor. Yeah, especially the Samsung variant in Europe. Strangely enough, is supposed to be better than the one in the U.S. this year.
yeah, I know. It's
Weird.
quite strange. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of keen to have a play with it. I'll probably end up buying it because, well, I've had mine now for a couple of years, so I probably need to think about replacing it soon.
Yeah, we'll both do the unboxing together. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'm
So, yeah,
curious to see how much of an upgrade that X60 modem is over the X55 because I don't know enough about modems and carrier wave aggregation and all that to know how much of that is, a real revolutionary improvement versus, the marketing you get every year.
No, it's a substantial upgrade,
Oh, it'll be
especially in the
huge.
5G realm. It's a substantial upgrade. Now, can all the carriers use the tech that it has at the moment? No. Will they be able to in 6 months, a year, 2 years? That depends on the carrier. Some people who are using T-Mobile, unfortunately, you're not going to see any improvement with modem.
That's
Really, it's
me.
going to be well, whatever you've got right now with the modems now, you're fine because you've got all of what T-Mobile is deploying for now and for the foreseeable future.
And essentially, it's the same for those in Australia. I'm not sure about the UK, obviously, but in Australia, we have reasonably, I would say, not antiquated, not quite there, but it's definitely too mobile-ish.
Now, if you're using
technology.
AT&T, they have tons and tons of bands. So they use, for example, when we talk about bands, these are the frequencies that carriers connect to. And so they're connecting through, I don't know, band 2, 4, 5, 12, 14, 29, 30. I'm probably missing something. 66. So the more your newer processor plus all the 5G bands and your newer modem is going to be able to aggregate more of those bands together to essentially give you better speeds and better performance. So on AT&T, it will make a huge difference, and on Verizon, it'll make a big difference too because they're using more of the millimeter wave, and they'll be able to aggregate the millimeter wave with some of their lower frequencies, which will be good. So anyway, to not make it too technical, if you're using AT&T or Verizon, it will be a big upgrade. If you're using T-Mobile, you probably would have been fine from a phone from 2 years ago. So
Yeah, but the good thing, I guess, with let's say that's going to be the S21. The good thing with the S21, though, is that you will be able to keep that phone for a few years now. So by that point, you'd think that things should be significantly improved in a lot of areas and in a lot of countries. So I guess that's one of the good things.
All Kinds of Technology says, hello, Marco, sir. How are you all? We are well. We're glad that you're here. All
Hello.
Kinds of Technology. Hello. Sounds like maybe you should be on the podcast with us.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that on our Telegram group. I think it was we've got a blind. What was it? Blind tech something or other.
Tech Guys
We've got a Tech
Pakistan or something.
Explorer.
Tech Explorer.
No,
Yeah.
we've got a blind Tech Guys Pakistan. I think that's what it
Pakistan.
is.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I'm like, hey, are you trying to copy our name? We're copyright here. Very. We've got our lawyers onto this. I'll tell you. We've got a team of lawyers in the background here sorting this.
We're going to sue in the World
crapola
Court
out.
or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you guys are interested in more mobile tech stuff, please let us know. I did reach out to a podcaster that has a YouTube channel. I've mentioned him before on this channel. His YouTube channel is called Sneed Mobile Tech. He has agreed to come on at some point, so we just have to figure out when that will be. But I think, as long as, if you guys are interested in more of the mobile side, then I'm sure he and maybe some other people will agree to come on, and they're certainly have their YouTube channels are a lot bigger than ours, so that'll be good.
Is that the gentleman from Brazil?
Nope. He's
Oh
from
no, this is a different one.
Ohio, I think, somewhere.
Okay. I did also notice another channel. I'm sorry, I can't remember it now, but there was somebody that put up a demonstration of WhatsApp scripts, and I can't remember the name of that channel, but they've got quite a bit of a presence as well in South America. So if you are listening, and we'll try and follow up with you off WhatsApp. I think you're on the WhatsApp group. You did do quite a good job, I have to say, of putting that content up. So it'd be interesting to well, if you are listening, if you want to reach out before we do, that'd be awesome to have you on the show as well.
So let's see. When I think about anything else that's gone on in the news, I think a lot of people probably getting stuff and then they figure out it doesn't work for them. And so I'd say, if you're getting stuff and you got whatever tech item and it's not working for you, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you have is going to be working for you. So, it's, I think, probably good to look at how long your return period is and what the best, safest way to do that is, before that return period expires. But of course, there are a lot of resources out there to get help with using that tech, and you can join. We have a mailing list, a Blind Tech Guys mailing list, and there's a lot of other resources that will put you in contact with. I know Gabe Vega actually runs his Comtech USA, and I know they do some training and that kind of thing. So we'll definitely put you in with resources that can help you use all that latest tech stuff that you've got. And
Well,
of course,
speaking
if
of
you want to tell
returns-
us all about it, then let us know what you've got.
Speaking of returns, Nimer, I did notice that yesterday when we were out shopping, just about every second person that came into the various places we walked into was returning something.
It tends to happen. They
It's,
got like a big
just
wave
like
of
that.
people buying stuff
Yeah.
right before Christmas. And then there's another second wave of people returning and exchanging
Yeah.
stuff right after Christmas. So
Yeah, it's funny how that happens, but well. It's gifts that people don't necessarily want to tell their, well, maybe significant or not so significant others that they don't want, but they just return them quietly.
that's right.
So, yeah.
Well, we have a party coming up. 2 parties, actually. And we have the Zoom links on our website, blindtechguys.com. And what we're going to do is just gather around the table virtually and talk a little bit about whatever and have a good time, have fun, talk tech, whatever. And we're going to bring in the new year.
Life, tech, and the world.
That's
Yeah.
right. We're going to bring
And
in
the
the new
universe
year.
and
The
everything.
universe, yeah.
And my hope is that 2021 will be a lot better than 2020. There's something saying something about hindsight 2020, and I can't wait to show 2020 my behind.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely. There has been really very little good about 1920. I was going to say 2020.
1920.
I think 1920 might have been a better year, potentially. But, there's been not a great amount of good this year. But it'd be nice to say kish kish to it, that's for sure.
Oh, that's exactly what our party's called, saying kish kish to 2020.
Kish Kish party.
So if you'd like to have a Kish Kish party, you can join us. We're going to be doing it at 700 and 1900 UTC time. So that is 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. or 2 p.m.
God.
Eastern
Now,
time,
if you can't work out the time, flick an
6
email
a.m. or
through to
6
Nimer.
p.m. Australia time,
If you can't work out
Melbourne
the time,
time.
flick an email through to Nimer at blindtechguyspodcast@gmail.com and he'll
Yeah,
let you
Nimmer would
know.
love that.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's okay. Seriously, though, we're going to be doing it at 700, 0700 and 1900 UTC time on December 30th. So,
And I think that'll cover most time zones. I think that, well, that's the main reason why we're having the two get-togethers. Now, you feel free to come to both. You don't have to pick one or the other. You're more than welcome to come to both, but you will want to check out the website because both of them do have different links. And that's just to make it a bit easier for those of us hosting it, just to keep it under control. And yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think the mute feature could work well, Nimmer. It just depends on how many people we get in. But I think we'll get quite a few, and I'm hoping that people do feel that they can come in. It doesn't matter if you don't know each other and stuff like that. That's the whole point about meeting new people and talking tech and talking whatever else. You know, we will definitely make you welcome, and we look forward to being a part of it on the 30th. Should be fun.
well, we've come to talk about our giveaway.
Oh yes.
Ooh.
Now this one, I've actually put a ticket in this giveaway.
Yes, me too. Yeah, I put like 5 in.
Yeah.
I better have at least one ticket in here.
Yeah, well, we can certainly do that. Our lawyers have said that it's okay. It's all kosher. Very good. Very good.
Ticket fraud.
So, first of all, what is the giveaway for? For anybody who has not been listening, our giveaway is intended to celebrate our 10,000 plays that we've gotten through the podcast. Now, we don't really have a reliable way of measuring this. We can kind of guesstimate from the time that we started on Buzzsprout to the time that we switched to our current provider to now, and actually we probably have passed the 10,000 a while ago because we were with Anchor and we were with some other podcast.
Well, we're not
before
including
that, but we're
those.
not counting those.
Yeah. It's a bit hard to look back that far. So we're just counting basically from the middle of July through till, well, whenever it goes off.
Yep.
Yeah. So 6 months essentially.
So we are very nearly at our 10,000th download. Very, very, very close. Probably about 500 away now from our 10,000th download.
We'll probably be able to announce it at the get-together on the 30th, actually. Should be pretty much bang on by that stage. We'll see.
I suspect we'll be saying that we're 10,000 around that time. And we're going to tell you a little bit about what the giveaway is and how to enter the giveaway, because you'll be able to enter the giveaway as soon as the podcast goes live on, once we send that out to our podcast provider and it hits the Google speakers and all that. So if you try to do it now, it won't work. If you try to do it tomorrow, it will work. All right. So what you're going to want to do is you want to go to blindtechguys.com. And you're going to want to go towards the bottom of the page. There will be a form where you send us feedback. Now, we're always looking for people to send us feedback. So we're essentially going to cajole you into sending us feedback. Very good.
But there's a good incentive, though. But we'll get to that.
There is a good incentive. Now, should you choose to, you can skip every single question, but we do hope that you will give us feedback and not choose to skip every single question. Then you're going to go to the next button, and the next page again, it's optional, and it allows you to enter in your contact details. Now, of course, if you don't want your feedback associated with your name, please don't leave us feedback and then leave us your name.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to fill this bit out because we need to know who you are. So you're going to fill out your name, you're going to fill out your email address, and then there'll be a box where you have to type in a secret word. Now, you guys here on listening to the YouTube or watching the YouTube live are going to be the first ones to get the secret word. You guys are going to type in that word. And Kirt Harshit says, good to hear you. So
Cool.
Hello, Harshit. Very good.
Hey, Harshit.
So in any case, what you're going to do is you're going to type in the secret word, and then you're going to hit submit.
What's the word?
The word is the word. No, I'm kidding. Now in Israel, we have a really good snack that we like to eat, and these are like almost like Cheetos except they kind of look similar to the shape of Cheetos. They're red. They come in a nice bag with a baby on it, and they're filled with peanut butter. Of course, sort of like a consistency of a cheese puff or something, except peanut butter.
Something similar here. Yeah.
And they're kind of the shape of maybe like a Cheeto. These are called bamba. So your word is bamba. B-A-M-B-A. Hopefully it makes no sense to anybody and nobody will just guess the word. But your word is bamba.
There's no la before it?
M-B-A. No la bamba. Just bamba.
All right, just bamba. Okay.
Just bamba.
Oh, very good.
So you're going to type that in. Now again, that field has not been enabled yet. So if you do it right now, it's not going to work. We haven't hit 10,000 plays or released the podcast yet.
So this is literally, listeners, going to happen as soon as we realize that we've hit the 10,000th play, which I imagine will probably happen midweek. Mid to late week, I'd say.
But I'll enable that thing, so hopefully you should be able to start doing that tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and enable it. You guys can start entering in those things, and then once we hit that 10,000th play, or probably on our Zoom call, we'll do that drawing.
Yeah, why don't we do it during the Zoom get together?
Yeah, we'll do it through the Zoom get together, and we'll do the drawing, and I'll use a randomizer, and we'll just pick a name out of all the people who submit. At least the contact details, hopefully feedback as well.
But as Nimer said, look, if you just want to enter the draw, that's fine too. If you feel inclined, and we always love to get your feedback, to submit feedback, that'd be awesome. But obviously make sure you put your details in. That's the most important thing. Name, email address, and obviously the word lumber, wasn't it?
Bamba.
What was the word?
No,
Bamba.
no,
Sorry, Bamba. Bamba.
No, so you're not going to remember it.
What was that, Marco? Lumber?
Lumber. I was like, hold on, what was that damn word? Bamba. B-A-M-B-A. Bamba.
That's right. Bamba.
Sounds like something dodgy. But anyway, I might have to check that box. Bamba. Very good.
That's right.
And obviously, we'll definitely do that. I think, we might draw it on the first one. And I suspect we might be in a position to do that on the first get-together.
Yeah.
And then obviously announce it again on the second one. Yep. And we'll probably have a chat about it in the next podcast as well. But I suppose we should tell the listeners what the prize is as well.
Oh, do you guys want to know what the prize is? Tell us in the comments.
I want to know what the prize is.
I want to know what the prize is too. No, I already know what the prize is.
Harshit says bird is the word. Yeah, okay. Let us know. Put it in the chat if you want to know what the prize is. If you don't want to know, that's fine. We won't tell you. I'm not seeing any chats. I guess no one wants to know.
Is it that laptop you're trying to sell, Nimer?
Well, I was thinking about pulling something plasticky under my bed, or What
have you got your cane there or something?
Is it one of those Weewoks?
Yes, very good, Harshit. Yeah. He turned it into a hashtag. Very good, Harshit. Yes, hashtag Bamba.
Let's go into what the prize is anyway.
Oh, but they haven't said they wanted it. I guess maybe they don't want it. Oh, come on. All right, fine. We'll tell you. Duo? What is Duo? Duo? I don't know what that is, Harshit. Yeah, that's an app.
Oh my gosh.
Either that or it's two. But yeah.
Or it'll be gone in a week.
Well, yeah, it could be two. Yeah.
I'm wondering if Harshit has had a little too much to drink. He seems to be sending nonsensical words. His next thing says Sidekick 3. What is...
Sounds like Harshit's having a good night.
You're making me jealous there, Harshit.
Yeah. I mean, we've barely got through lunch here on a Monday, so it's,
All right. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a drawing, and the prize is going to be of equal value to 100 US dollars.
wow. How many rupees is that?
500 million. I don't know. But
Are
whatever
you
it
going to
is.
sit there and count it out? Or?
Yeah, are you going to count one, two? Well, I guess I'm going to have to if I'm going to send 100
If you're
million
going to
rupees
send it
or
over,
something.
yeah.
You're gonna send that over
$100.
Alipay there, Nimmer?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
whatever.
No. He's going to send it via. He's going to
Palpay.
say send it via Palpay. Yeah. Very good. I shouldn't probably bring my business into this, but anyway, that's all good. We'll keep
No,
going.
maybe
So
not.
$100. Wow.
Yes. Now, if you are, I think we'll give a few options for how to receive that. Now, if you are somewhere where, Amazon is around, maybe we'll do like a gift card, Amazon gift card for the value of $100. If you're in a place where that doesn't exist, then we'll find something that does exist, and or we'll just figure out a way to send you the cash of $100 for thank you for supporting us, for sending us feedback, for listening to our podcast, and bringing us down to 10,000 plays. And hopefully, if you share it out, we'll reach the next milestone. Maybe we'll do a bigger prize at 25,000. But this really is for you guys, and we're very, very thankful that you guys have brought us this far. And we hope that this kind of is enough of a thank you to you guys for bringing us here, for where we are. Title of the videos, IDK. What? Fold 3? I think he's giving us name for the title of the video. All right. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, Harshad, but
Does he want a Z Fold 3? Is that where he's going with it?
yeah, maybe he wants to come on the podcast with us. I don't know, and talk some nonsense. I don't know.
Could be interesting. No, it's definitely a pretty good prize though, Nim. $100. As Nim has said, it'll be either an Amazon card or something that's suitable to the winner. So it's not necessarily going to be an Amazon card. It's not going to be whatever, but it'll be suitable to you.
That's right.
And that's $100 US, by the way.
100
Just for anyone
US
that's
dollars. Yep.
Yeah.
And so we'll just, whatever that conversion is, that's fine. But it'll be 100 US dollars. I can't promise it'll be a, most accurate conversion because currency rates always change, but it will be reasonably accurate enough. So.
And it's just basically say thanks for being a part of the show for the last year, and just pretty much it's been let's face it, it's been a pretty shitty year, and we just, want to say thank you, and we really appreciate you being a part of the show each and every week.
So who's entitled to win, Marco? Can we win, or who's?
I wish we could. So sadly we can't, I don't think. So we might have to rip those tickets out of the barrel. Oh, we haven't even been able to do it yet because you haven't enabled the the word.
You know what? I'm not gonna be part of this podcast anymore. People think I make fun of them anyway. So then, can I enter?
I suppose you could, yeah. If you say Kish, hey, we could have that. Is that going to be 66? Kish Kish to Nim. Happy New Year. Hello.
That's right.
So that should be fun. So, as I said, look out for that, or as Nimer should say, look out for that in the next couple of days. Get your entries in. Podcast will be out later today, which will be good. And, it should be fun to see who wins that one.
That's right. Well, just to wrap it up, I think we're going to do we'll do a little bit of an app demo comparison of Nearby Explorer and the bad maps or good maps, and I'm going to go a little bit more in depth, as to why I think GoodMaps isn't actually GoodMaps. because there was a competitor podcast released, and I don't like to say competitor, but I think essentially that's what it's turned out to be since they're not talking to us anymore. You know, some
Yeah, they
people
put
went
themselves
out,
in that
created
space.
another podcast.
Yeah.
They actually said a lot of great things about GoodMaps, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison between the two and maybe have a little bit of a discussion on that. Now, we have compared both apps separately, but I think we'll just compare those maybe side by side. And please know that anything I'm saying about GoodMaps and Nearby Explorer, especially Nearby Explorer, applies to the iOS side and the Android side because both apps are very similar to one another. And so anything applies to both apps unless I very much state otherwise, which I probably won't state otherwise because pretty much they're going to apply to both apps. The title of the video said Sidekick 3, so the giveaway could have been a Sidekick, which is not made anymore. I don't think the title said Sidekick, did it?
No. Anyway, let's keep moving on. These comments aren't making much sense, to be frank.
Awesome and useful information. Thank you. I can't even say your name. I'm sorry. Akalish. Sorry, can't say your name. All right, so let's pull up GoodMaps. And I'll go through GoodMaps here. And Marco, do you want to pull out Nearby Explorer? Or should I do that one too?
No, I can do that. Do you want to start? I just got to set up on this end. Just give me 2 secs.
I might need to crack open a beer if we're going to do GoodMaps.
Yeah, I didn't realize that we were going to do this, so just give me one moment.
I didn't realize we were going to do this either until I made it up on the spot.
I mean, it's a good comparison. The people deserve to know.
What is it called? Oh, it's called Explore. See, this is like, it's my annoyance with this app starts from the very beginning. They advertise it as GoodMaps, or maybe the company's name GoodMaps, I don't know. But then they call the app Explore.
With our community and previous guests. Oh yeah.
What in the world is that?
Experience. Explore. Got our guests on the line.
GoodMaps. GoodMaps.
Service. Navigate free period. Tap to open. Loading.
Now, I could not have found this in the Play Store without you sending me the link either, Nimer, which is kind of silly.
Yeah. Good stuff with having to give away, and I hope you guys hit your 10K mark. Oh, we're nearly at the 10K mark, so we'll certainly hit it. Thank you, Harshad. All right, so GoodMaps. Now, we're going to do a little bit of comparison for someone who joined us. Looks like we have 4 watching now. And GoodMaps, I've already gone through the interface a little bit. But let me tell you what is here, what is good about this app, and frankly, everything that's missing. And I will demo Nearby Explorer. The interface of GoodMaps is very clean. There is not a lot here. It's a very usable interface, just not a lot here.
Direction. Facing south.
So it has my direction, tells me I'm facing south.
Nearest address. 3,939.
Nearest address. What 3 words address? Because I've enabled that.
Upcoming cross street. 0.1 kilometers.
Upcoming cross street. It gives me that information.
Tap to see nearby button.
Tap to see nearby point of interest. So it tells me that.
Nearby POI. 64 meters. 11 o'clock to Taco
Nearby
High School.
point of interest. It tells me that.
Getting warmer POI. Parkwood Apartments. 0.1 kilometers. 8 o'clock.
And then I set a getting warmer one that you can set to tell you how far away you are from a particular place.
Location tab selected.
And then along the bottom we have our tabs. Location,
Button. Navigation bar. Favorites tab unselected. Explore. Location tab selected. Favorites tab unselected.
favorites,
Look around tab.
look around,
More tab unselected.
and more.
And you might
Now-
want to just turn that up a bit, mate.
Look around tab unselected. Favorites tab unselected.
Oh, very good.
That's a bit better.
Look around tab unselected.
Okay. And maybe I should slow it down, huh?
Yeah, just a bit.
Links.
It's pretty
Speech
quick.
rate. Speech rate 75%. Speech rate 70%. Speech rate 65%. Speech rate 60%.
Okay, I hope you can understand that, but I did say every single thing I was passing.
Facing
So,
south.
if
Near
you
3,939.
couldn't understand the screen reader, I'm sorry.
Flash. Sound. Juror. 3 meters 8 o'clock. More tab. Unselected.
Now, one feature that I do like about this app that Nearby Explorer also has is this look around feature. So when I go to look around, it's going to get very chatty. But essentially, when I point the top of my phone around, whatever direction I point it in is going to tell me what items are around me in that direction. Upcoming streets, and points of interest. You can't control what it does tell you, but it will tell you that information. So let's go into look around, and I'll let it chatter away for a little bit, but
Facing
this is
south.
what it's going to do.
Look around. Southwest. Galaxy European cars, 0.2 kilometers. Perfect auto service, 0.2 kilometers. Precise collision, 0.2 kilometers. Big discount tire pros, 0.2 kilometers. Fremont Foreign Auto, 0.2 kilometers. Bell Common, Bell Street, 0.3 kilometers. Steinbeck Terrace, Hemingway Common, Poe Terrace, 0.4 kilometers. Garland Drive, Beloit Street, 0.4 kilometers. Country Drive, Beloit Street, 0.4 kilometers. Garland Drive,
All right, I'm
Argonaut
going to
Way,
rotate it.
0.5 kilometers. South. Rancho Luna Apartments, 52 meters. Favorite, Fremont Boulevard, 0.1 kilometers. Pizza Pimp's Truck, 0.1 kilometers. Fremont Boulevard, 0.1 kilometers. Fremont All Suits Islander Motel, 0.4 kilometers. Bell Street, Maury Avenue, 0.4 kilometers. Food Truck Mafia, 0.5 kilometers. Argonaut Way, Marie Court, 0.6 kilometers. Argonaut Way, Maury Avenue. Recents, button, navigation bar.
Okay,
Search Google,
so
Google, Explore.
what is the
No menu
problem
items.
with those
Actions.
announcements? As much as I like,
One UI home. Search.
as much as I really do like the look around feature, what is the problem with it? Well, there are several. One, you can't control how many items it gives you, so it can be prattling on for a really long time. Two, you can't control the distance that it gives you announcements. Things that are 0.6 kilometers away may not be of interest to me when I'm in a very populated area that has just tons and tons of stuff around me. Three, you can't sort what you're looking around for. For example, if I'm looking around for a restaurant, I'm looking around for whatever, I can't sort that information out. I can't filter it out. I can just look around and see what there is to see, which is fine, but it still makes it a little bit difficult when you can't also narrow down the distance. It's kind of like if you had vision and your eyes could see 2 miles away, and every time you looked in a direction, you were just met with every single possible thing there was to see for 2 miles or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not a great analogy, but that's way too much. Now, what are things that are missing? Well, you can't control anything that's really on that home tab, on that on that main tab. You can't control whether or not you want intersections spoken. You can't control whether or not you want your speed announced. You can't control whether or not you want your latitude or longitude. You can't control whether you want your heading. What you can do is set up announcements or turn the announcements off, but the announcements are based on time. For example, every 30 seconds it will speak a certain announcement, like your heading. Every 1 minute it'll speak your announcement. Well, what's the problem with that? When you're traveling, you don't necessarily approach an upcoming intersection every 30 seconds or every minute. It tends to be random. Blocks are not always the same length, especially, some places you might go, 500 meters before you hit the next street, and then you might go 100 meters to the next street. See what I'm saying? There's no consistency. So the fact that you can't really know when you're coming up to a street and you have to have it time-based, I don't like that. That makes it worthless. Another thing that...
I didn't understand.
I didn't say anything, Bixby. Thank you, though. Another thing that I don't like is its inability to really be customizable. There's a lot of things that Nearby Explorer does, and Mark will go through it, that this app will do. My final thing that I don't like, well, there's a lot I don't like, but my final thing I'm going to address here that I don't like is on Android side, this app does not read out notifications properly. So when I lock my phone and I'm walking about with my phone, it might read the first notification, and then all of a sudden it will not read a thing. It will not say anything. It doesn't matter even if I turn talkback off, and I've tried this because this app can be self-voicing. Even if I turn talkback off, this app will not read out intersections or anything. After probably the first 30 seconds of it being in my pocket, it stops reading out stuff altogether. A small point, I use Bluetooth headphones, and with Bluetooth headphones, a lot of them will cut out after about 15 seconds. This app, what it'll do is it'll play a tone after it reads the direction. Well, it makes sense to me that it would play the tone before it reads the direction, A, for Bluetooth headphones that need that initial sound to start, actually talking, and B, to alert you that it's actually going to give you an instruction. So it makes no sense that they have the tone after the the direction. Although Nearby Explorer, as far as I know, doesn't even have a tone. So I guess maybe that's a little progress. I don't know, but
Well, what it should really do is just allow you to set so that the tone will play every 10 seconds or something like that. Will very quietly play in the. It only has to be very quiet, just to keep the Bluetooth active there.
yeah, or at least play it right before the instruction. Play a little dong just to alert users, hey, we're going to have an instruction
this is what's
now.
going to happen. Yeah.
And then it gives you that, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah, because you will always lose the first couple of syllables usually
That's
on
right.
Bluetooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be useful.
And then on my end, whenever my phone's locked in my pocket, GoodMaps won't talk to me, which is very aggravating. Where Nearby Explorer will.
It's lucky that you guys have got GoodMaps. We haven't even got it here, so can't really say anything about that at this point. But it definitely sounds very painful at the moment. That's for sure.
Buggy first release, at least.
Yeah. Now, I'll just quickly run through because it's unfortunately an app that's, you can't even download from the Play Store anymore, sadly, which is very disappointing. I'll just run through a couple of quick things on here. Maybe just the main screen. What do you reckon?
Yep, I think that's good. Let me go through these comments here real quick before we do that. Just catch up, otherwise we're going to fall way behind.
Home button. Home button. Long press Google Assistant. Space. 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 Space.
Nearby Explorer Online.
1083
Space.
Glen Huntley Road, 9 meters
Google
southwest.
Assistant.
Rosebery.
Okay, I don't know why we've got lots of voices going on here, but I think that's Marco's end.
That's Marco.
I don't believe that the two apps belong in the same category. One is for indoors, and the other one is for outdoors, and that is from Harshad. No, that's not true, Harshad. Actually, Nearby does work indoors, and that's what the whole they made it work indoors, and it was using beacons, I believe. GoodMaps is using different technology. I think something to do with the camera, and it only
I think
works
it's
in
camera.
one or two locations, so it doesn't even work indoors in most places.
It only
And,
works in blind training centers.
Yeah, there's only one or two blind training centers, but even if it did, it actually does say that it does work outdoors, and it's meant as sort of a replacement to what Nearby Explorer was supposed to be. This is what they advertised it as, and so no, it's not that at all. And frankly, why would you use this app instead of Nearby Explorer? I will never know.
I'll tell you what, though, as I said to you during the week, Nimer, if I was a developer or a programmer on the Nearby Explorer app when that got kish-kished, so to speak, I'd be so disappointed.
Yeah, I
It's
would be
just
too.
such a waste of a good app.
They put a lot into that.
Oh, huge amount.
Which TTS is
Craziness.
it that I was using? I was using Google Text to Speech. Somebody else wants to know, would like to know which headset and mic you guys use, particularly Marco.
Oh. I'm using a Rode NT1 microphone, which is a very nice mic, and just a nice pair of Sennheiser headphones. And I'm on a mixer as well, just in case you're wondering.
And I'm using an AKG mic that actually puts out very decent sound, but I'm in a very untreated room, and there's only so
it
much
does
a
help
mic
that I'm
can
in a
do in
treated
this
room as
space.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's only so much that we can do with this kind of a space, unfortunately. So
All right, so do you want me to... Shall we run through this quickly, Nim? Since
Yes.
we're sort of running on now. So I'm just going to turn this level back up. All right, so we've opened up Nearby. So just simply looking at the main screen, there is a ton, and I'm not kidding, there are tons and tons of things you can do on here.
Tap to dismiss assistant.
We'll get rid of Assistant first of all.
Radius down button. Compass Optio pause button. More options button. Nearby Explorer Online. Transit button. Nearby Explorer Online.
Okay, so this is from the top of the screen. We'll just quickly scroll through.
More options button.
So there's a more options. Double tap on that.
Search.
So it gives you search, so you can search for a place to go.
Favorites.
Favorites, if you've added stuff to your favorites.
Transit.
transit, well, fairly self-explanatory, just a transit that's around you.
Get transit stops by move it.
And I've got an option here, get transit stops by move it, which is excellent because I use that up here in Melbourne.
Settings.
Settings, and I don't think we'll run through that, Nimer, because we'll be here for 3 hours.
What's new?
Lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff in
Settings.
there.
What's new?
What's new?
Help.
Help.
Send feedback. Rate this app.
Send feedback. Rate this app.
About. Take Indoor Explorer survey.
Take Indoor Explorer survey. Probably not worth doing that these days.
Search.
And that's pretty much it.
Back button.
So that's in your...
Glen Huntley Road.
And
Heading northwest.
We're heading northwest. Very good. I'm just turning my phone around at the moment to see if...
Heading east approaching Glen Huntley Road 30 meters.
See, now I am actually pointing my phone eastwards, and it does actually realise that I'm east. Oh.
1083 Glen Huntley Road 8 meters south.
Yep, so I'm actually pointing my phone north, and it
1083 Glen
realises
Huntley Road 7 meters south.
that I have to walk south to get to... Well, it is actually correct. Essentially, Glen Huntley Road is south of me.
1083 Glen Huntley Road 9 meters south.
Yep. Okay, so we'll just quickly go through the main screen options.
State checkbox unchecked Victoria. Country check settings update level but radius up button. Level button on the update map button. Settings button. Country checkbox unchecked
So
Australia.
these are all things that you can check, and this is stuff that you can get information on. If it's checked, it'll read out all the bits and pieces of information. So,
Yep.
country...
If it's checked, it reads it out automatically.
Automatically, yeah.
Settings but country checkbox unchecked
So we've got
Australia.
country,
State checkbox unchecked Victoria.
state,
County checkbox unchecked Glen Iowa City County.
which
Rosemary
is
Grove.
the suburb,
City checkbox unchecked Glen Huntley.
city, which is essentially the same thing, really.
Zip code checkbox unchecked 3163. Heading checkbox checked east.
Heading, so this tells you which way that you're going, so I've got that checked.
Street number checkbox unchecked I-111.
Street number, I don't need every street number read out as I walk past it.
Street name checkbox checked Rosemary Grove.
Street name, I like to have that checked.
Approaching checkbox checked Glen Huntley Road 30M.
Approaching, so it tells you what you're approaching, if you're coming up to a corner, or if you're coming up to another street, a cross street, stuff like that.
Guidance checkbox checked.
Guidance is quite self-explanatory. You obviously want that on if you want to be guided around.
Nearby checkbox unchecked 1083 Glen Huntley Road street address.
Nearby, it tells you what's nearby. Now, I sometimes have that on or off. Just depends on where I am. If I'm in the city and I don't need every, bit of information read out because there's lots of stuff there, then I'll have that unchecked. Or even around here, there's lots and lots of shops, so have that unchecked.
Nearby position checkbox unchecked 11M at 3 o'clock.
I have that unchecked generally, but I can have it checked if I want to know where stuff is or if I'm looking for a specific thing.
Description checkbox unchecked.
Description.
Blind description checkbox unchecked.
Blind description. Don't really know what blind description is, but anyway, that's always been unchecked.
Watch checkbox checked 1083 Glen Huntley Road 9M
Watch is
southwest.
quite a cool little feature, isn't it, Nim? The old watch feature.
It is. It's one of my
1083 Glen Huntley
favorites.
Road, 9
I
meters
like the
southwest.
GeoBeam
Heading southeast.
personally is my favorite feature, but the watch is pretty cool too. You can set a location, and it'll tell you how far away you are from that location.
Alright, and we'll keep going.
Speed checkbox unchecked 2.6 km/h.
Speed. So obviously that tells you how fast you're walking or driving, and it's actually
Wow, you're going
spot
pretty
on.
fast right now.
Yeah,
Wow,
I know, I'm
Marco.
moving.
1083
So that's not
Glen
very
Huntley Road,
accurate, is
7
it?
meters
Watch checkbox speed checkbox unchecked 1.3 km/h.
Oh, 1.3. Wow, very good. I
1083
was
Glen
about to
Huntley
say
Road
that
8
that's
meters
Now,
very
the reason
accurate.
that
It is
it-
actually very accurate when you're driving, I have to say.
It is. And the
when
reason
you're
that it
walking,
says
too.
that is because GPS, it doesn't actually ever think that you're standing still
No.
necessarily. It's always you're always kind of moving around
Always
a little
moving.
bit. So
Yeah.
Latitude checkbox unchecked S3753.335. Longitude checkbox unchecked E145. Altitude checkbox unchecked 54 meters above. Accuracy checkbox unchecked 17M.
Accuracy, I've got that unchecked. I don't need
Show
that.
slash hide items
talking
20 out
to
of
me.
20.
So there you go. So you've got 20 items there that you can hide or you can have talk to you.
Heading
So
northwest.
obviously, if you have them talking to you, you have it checked. If you have it hidden, you have it unchecked. If you then double tap on one of them,
Latitude checkbox unchecked S30. Speed
pick
watch check
one.
line description checkbox nearby checkbox unchecked 1083 Glen
go
Huntley Road
nearby.
street
So
address.
if we double tap and hold on it,
Nearby position checkbox unchecked 16M.
yeah,
Description
double
checkbox
tap
unchecked.
and hold on nearby
Nearby
position.
checkbox unchecked 1083 Glen
Yep.
Huntley Road street. Nearby position checkbox unchecked 16M at 8 o'clock.
There you go. Double tap
There
and
we
hold
go.
on
Set
that
radius. Reporters clock set radius. Uncheck all. Set radius. Reporters clock face checkbox checked.
so select radius, reporter's clock face,
Save location as favorite.
save location as favorite.
Set location as watch.
Set location as watch, and that's really cool because if you get lost somewhere, that's one of the great things about watch. You can save a position where you start from. Let's say I forget where I live, if I get Alzheimer's or something, I can set a position where I start from, and then I can always get back to that position, which is very cool.
Virtual navigation checkbox unchecked.
Virtual navigation obviously allowed, well, if you're wanting to check out a new city, just how to get around before you get there type thing, you check that.
Uncheck all. Set radius.
You can uncheck all and set
Back
radius.
button.
So there you go.
Nearby
Near
Explorer
road
online.
ahead 270
Quite
meters 1083.
it's a very, what I would call a robust app. I mean, you can pretty much, and I haven't gone through the settings, otherwise, as I said, we'll be here for 3 hours, but you can pretty much do anything that you want, and you can make it speak or not speak anything that you want. It's just, I mean, some people say, oh, it's got way too many settings, but like Nimer said on the midweek podcast, I would rather have those settings there. If you don't want to use them, you can uncheck them. I like having settings. I like being able to control an app like this. There's very few apps where you can literally do anything you want in terms of navigation. You can do transit. You can do... And it's accurate. And it uses Google, and it uses pretty much any... Well, Foursquare, not that that's really accurate in this country anymore. It's pretty useless, but anyway, that's another story. It uses all sorts of maps. OpenStreetMaps is always good. I mean, you just really can't go wrong. And the other thing that it does, and if you're driving along, this thing is bang on. Like, it tells you something's coming up, and it is pretty much spot on. It's just accurate. You're walking along, it describes things accurately. You try using Lazarillo, or you try using other apps, they're just not that accurate. This is pretty much spot on every time. It's just a really good app, and look, I've heard people say that they don't like the app for various reasons. I honestly don't understand why you wouldn't like this app, and it's just, it's a great shame it's gone, or going. But sadly, and look, I can't obviously attest to having tried GoodMaps because it's not available here, but in my mind, I don't understand why they just didn't copy the interface from this if they're trying to basically say, and they have said it in their press releases, that this is a replacement for Nearby Explorer, or they're trying to replace it with something like GoodMaps. Why don't you just copy everything from Nearby Explorer then? That'd be great. Yeah. If you did that, it'd just work perfectly. You wouldn't have to worry about it,
Two features that I really like about Nearby Explorer, the compass mode is pretty much the same as the look around. So if you enable at the top, there are some buttons there, and if you hit on compass, you can actually point your phone around, and it will do the same thing that the look around mode
So we'll do that since I'm in the screen, Nim.
Heading check people. City, county, state, check country, setting, update, level, but radius up button. Radius down, compass off button. Compass off button.
Okay. Compass on, so I've turned it on.
Radius down button. Compass on button.
Now I'll move my phone around.
Glen Huntley Road. Neeram Road ahead 260 meters.
Now tilt your phone so so the camera is facing
heading
outwards.
Northwest.
There you go.
Heading northeast.
Yep, I am heading northeast, or I've pointed it that way, so I'm moving it around towards north.
Heading north.
There we go.
Heading northwest.
There we go. Why is it coming
unknown? Heading southwest.
There you go.
Unknown. Rose. Heading unknown. Heading.
So it's making that noise because when you have it flat, it's going to tell you what streets that you're approaching, or anything that you're approaching. If you point it upwards, and it'll tell you the compass direction.
So I'll go flat. And I don't think it's going to read anything now because I'm not really near anything. So it's probably better just to go directional.
Yep.
Heading north.
But very similar to that feature, so that compass mode is very good to use.
Feels really accurate too.
It is.
It is.
Compass off button.
And then my other favorite feature is the geo beam. Now,
heading northwest.
The only way to really demonstrate geo beam is you have to actually navigate to a location. So you have to use guidance.
Yeah.
So you have to put in an address and say, I want to navigate to an address, like walking directions. Now, when you're using this, as you get close to your destination, you can turn on the geo beam and point your phone around, and as the top of the phone is pointed at whatever place you're trying to find, it will actually let out beeps to make sure that you know essentially it'll tell you what side of the street it's on, or even where the door is, pretty much. And,
you can almost navigate to a door.
You can navigate to a door.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, as you're walking, as you're getting closer, the reason that you know that you're getting closer is the beeps will actually increase in pitch. And if you're not pointing your phone in the correct direction, it's not going to beep.
Now, I know that
kind of like
GoodMaps does this
warmer
sort of thing as well. But
GoodMaps doesn't really do this, no.
Oh, I thought they had like a...
They have a get warmer feature.
A get warmer feature or something.
They do have a get warmer feature, but it doesn't do this kind of thing. It doesn't do it through the beep. So all it does is you set a location. It's kind of like the watch feature, really. You set a location feature, and then it'll tell you getting, whatever your get warmer is, point of interest is.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like the watch. But the geo beam is kind of its own thing. Again, I'm not sure how many people ever used it, and I'm sure that a lot of people who used Nearby Explorer always left the settings at their defaults. But those of us who use it, it's definitely the best app out there.
Oh,
So
Yeah, it's
there's
nice.
just no competition. Whether you're an iOS user or Android user, there's just no other app that, in my mind anyway, that comes anywhere near it, to be honest.
Well, and the other thing I love about Nearby Explorer, which GoodMaps won't do, is GoodMaps is stuck on the clock faces. Now, I've always struggled with the clock faces. I don't know if it's some sort of mental block or what, but it takes me a lot longer to figure out what does 3 o'clock mean versus
I'm the
what does
same as you,
northeast
Kurt.
mean. Or
I'd rather have directions than clock faces and stuff. That's just me. Yeah.
GoodMaps is stuck on those stupid clock faces, which for some reason people think blind people love.
Yeah, no, I'm always been very good with my directions. I would much rather have directional readout than stupid clock faces. Completely agree.
now somebody here saying or Nearby Explorer is not available on iOS. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not available on either platform anymore. Not for iOS,
officially.
not for Android. And so if you're in India, you cannot get this app anymore if you haven't already downloaded it, or and iOS, you don't have APK Mirror. So unfortunately, really unfortunately, you're out of luck. The only way to get Nearby Explorer on iOS is if you had previously downloaded it. It should still be in your library.
It'll show up in your library.
And then you can download it.
Yeah.
The most unfortunate thing is if you didn't get it, you can't get it anymore. On the Android side, you have some hope because you can still get it from APK Mirror, or you can find a very nice, generous friend who will share the app with you.
Well, actually, you can't get it on APK Mirror anymore. You can only the only place that I found it on now was AP Gear, which is another mirror type place. But I believe the APK Mirror one's been kished.
Okay,
Somebody was telling me so.
It must have been then. It's unfortunate.
Yep, it is. So,
but I tell you what, I've backed it up, and so I have a copy of it.
Oh, I have too.
So, yeah, don't want to lose that.
No.
Look, if they're going to leave it operational for the time being, I'm definitely going to be using it. There's no reason.
Oh, the maps are still updated, I think.
Yeah, and the maps are still updated.
Yeah, I updated mine today.
Yeah, so I shall.
No, I don't actually know if you hit update if it downloads the same exact map over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, because
I don't think there's any way to really tell.
No.
But it does update. So,
it still makes me feel good when I hit that update and it works. So I don't know. I don't actually know if it's updating or not.
It's a placebo.
It's a placebo effect. Yeah, exactly.
I kind of have to wait and see for a new business to open up, and then you can actually.
Yeah, and then you would know.
It's like those streetlight buttons you press that don't do anything, that are just there to make you feel like you can control something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it still works, and it's just accurate, and it's brilliant. I just love it. I just wish that GoodMaps, here's some feedback for you. Just copy every single thing from Goodbye Explorer, from Nearby Explorer. And then you would have a fantastic app. And if you think that we're just trying to be harsh on an app, we're not deliberately harsh on apps. We have had plenty of apps that we've shown a lot of love to over this past several months. And we're just honest. Like, if we like something, we'll say so. If we don't like it, we'll say so as well. And we're just not going to hold back from telling you what we think of an app.
That's right. Yeah, we're not paid by any app developers, and we wouldn't accept money even if they did decide to pay us. I think we want to stay honest. And
well, if you go to YouTube or if you go anywhere else and you look up reviews on certain things, they will always say, these are my thoughts, and if they've been provided the app, they'll say that they've been provided the app. Now, the genuine reviewers will still give a genuine review. I've heard reviews on microphones, which is something I'm interested in, from a particular reviewer, and whether he's got the piece of the microphone from that particular company, he'll still be honest about it, and that's just what we are as well. We're not going to tell you something's good if we don't think it is. Now, obviously, we always say to people that go and check it out for yourself if you can, and in this case, you can only do it, I believe, in the US and Canada for now.
Yeah.
But we're just telling you that I've listened to you using this app when we've obviously not.
I'll
on
tell you
here,
what,
and
it is a
it's just
good
not
basic
great.
navigation. The GoodMaps
It's a
is a
good
good
basic-
basic
yeah,
navigation
basic
app. It'll tell
navigation.
you where you
Yeah.
are. It will hopefully tell you what streets you're approaching if they fix it.
If they fix
On the
it.
iOS side, it's probably a bit better, but it's the most bare minimum of navigation apps. It's not even its title is actually accurate. They say explore. It's accurate in that you can't actually use it to navigate, and I would say you can't really even use it to explore. But if they have to give it a title, call it explore, I guess. But it's not
Look,
even.
if I'm going to have a
it's not
choice
even good
between
enough for
using
that.
that and using Google Maps, I still think I'd stick with Google Maps, even though it's not really an Explore app, but at least it tells you where you're supposed
Yeah, well,
to
it's
turn.
interesting. So when you actually try to use it to get directions, instead of giving you directions, it links to a third-party app, which again makes me wonder why would you ever use this app in
Why
the first
bother
place?
then?
But
Yeah.
it actually does link to something like Google Maps.
Well, then that's pointless. And I have to say just one other quick thing before we move on, because I know we've been talking about this for a while. Nearby Explorer was about the only app that I found that used very, very little battery life when you were navigating it. It was excellent for that, or is excellent for that. Far better than Google Maps or anything else I've used, I have to say. It's always been good with the old battery life. So there you go, GoodMaps. That's my suggestions. Just copy everything from Nearby Explorer. Every single setting, every single programming code, piece of code. And then you'd have a fantastic app and just call it GoodMaps. Very good? Very good.
I
Well,
think if
and
it was
look,
me,
I-
if it was me, and I wanted to make a really simple interface, I would copy the stuff from Nearby Explorer, hide it under an advanced tab or something, but have the first screen that comes up that people see similar to what GoodMaps is, just very few options, just very bare bones.
Keep it
Yeah.
simple.
And that
Keep
way,
it
the
simple,
90%
stupid.
of users who don't use the settings can be happy. That's fine.
Yep.
But the ones who actually rely on it and depend on it and need those extra options still have them. But
Yeah.
Good idea.
they're not going to listen to me, so whatever.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how the app develops in the coming months, and we'll definitely. I mean, if it changes significantly, we'll certainly let you know. But there we go.
I hope it does.
I'm
so do
sorry,
I.
still can't say your name. Wants to know what we think of the WeWalk app. Well, last time I tried WeWalk, it didn't do anything for me, so I'm gonna have to give it another try. If you're
I
saying that it
haven't-
works, then I will happily try it. But last time I gave it a go, it did nothing for me. So
Yeah, I tried it. Oh God, it might have been last year now. It was a long time ago, and it didn't even work for me. Same as
I
you.
don't know if it was as good as Right Here or maybe worse than Right Here, but it was pretty bad.
It was pretty
I feel
bad.
like I may as well use a dumbbell.
Yeah.
You know, a free weight.
I think as somebody used to say on this show, that went back to mama pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That app, but yeah.
Unfortunately, in the space, a lot of developers develop these apps not really thinking about the needs of blind people, or maybe they talk to a blind person that kind of says, oh, I need it to help check my mail. But they don't talk to the blind people who actually rely on these things for navigation, for true navigation, for exploration. And the unfortunate thing is we end up with a lot of these apps. There are a ton of them out there. I can name a bunch of them. Lazis, Lazarillo, Right Here, WeWalk.
Right Here.
There's tons and tons of them that I can name. Get There. There's just tons of them. Now, some of them are slightly better than others. Most of them have been deprecated. Pretty much all of them are not good. Some of them are a little better than others. Lazarillo's passable. But the developers aren't really consulting with blind people. And if they
Well, I've gotta
are,
say,
frankly,
before
they're
you go
consulting
on-
with the wrong blind people.
Well, before you go on, Nimer, Lazarillo is passable, especially when I find that it keeps telling me that I've got a bus stop coming up at a certain point, but it just doesn't exist. It's very good. And then it switches from saying that the bus stop's on the right to the left. It just keeps changing. It's amazing how that bus stop just moves every time.
Well, I just love it because when it tells me stuff's in front of me and then I keep walking and 50 meters down the road, it still tells me the things behind me.
Behind you, yeah. Have I missed that shelter?
Like I'm walking forward. I don't know why I want to keep knowing the things behind me
I
already.
don't know. Oh, well. But as you said, look, a lot of these apps are a very good term there, Nim. Passable. That's about all they are, to be honest. They're passable. They're okay. You know.
Now, the one piece of news that we did get this week that I forgot to address before we move on, or before we end the podcast, really, is Seeing AI. on the
Yes.
iOS side has enabled LiDAR support. Now you have to have an iPhone 11 Pro, 11 Pro, or no, sorry, 12 Pro, 12 Pro
Just the
Max.
12s. Yeah.
It cannot be a 12 or 12 mini.
No.
Has to be a 12 Pro or a 12 Pro Max. But they did enable LiDAR. You can use it to identify. Essentially, LiDAR is. So we talked a little bit about it in the midweek podcast. Essentially, I think that's when we talked about it, or maybe it was last
No, it
week.
was
I don't
last
remember.
week. Last week, yeah.
In
Check
any
that out.
in any case, you can use it. LiDAR is really good at providing distance information, and because that's one thing cameras can't really do. And so you're able to point your phone around, and you can tell the distance of, for example, it'll identify objects in the room. It'll say something like a chair 10 feet in front or whatever, and then you
Yeah.
point your phone in the next direction. It'll say a different object. And it does it in stereo sound if you have something like stereo headphones plugged in.
Does it tell you if you've
And
got a full cup of coffee or if you've drunk it?
no, no.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
But you can
Would it
point
tell
your-
me this beer is empty right in front of me?
Well, you know.
Bottle, 2 foot ahead.
Yes, it will do that. It will say bottle.
Or
But
does
you
it
can
call it a
point to-
gorilla?
Well, you never know. You know, with these things, object recognition isn't great. You can point it around the room, and then you can access a list of the things in the room and set a beacon for those items that are there. So, for example, you can set a beacon to, I don't know, a microwave or something, and then hit start, and then the thing will start giving you not directions, but it'll start telling you as you get closer that you're getting closer to that object.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it also uses the proximity sensor. So when you're walking around, if it vibrates, that kind of indicates, hey, there's something in front of you. If it doesn't vibrate, then that means your path is clear, that you can go forward. Now, it's not going to detect something like ground level or a basement or some big hole in the ground. So
Well, no.
it's not going to replace your cane. But I think that's a pretty good innovation there, pretty good advancement. I still resent seeing AI for not coming over to the Android side. But such is life. Microsoft doesn't want to do that. So there we go.
Not enough of us, I guess.
Oh, I think there are a lot more
In
of
the
us
U.S.
than iOS users. But,
yeah, that's silly of them. They're talking to the wrong people.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a shame, but it's fantastic advancement for iOS users, at least, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of technology proceeds, and I'm really hopeful that it proceeds in a good way. That's for sure. All right, are we? I think we're at the point
you
where
can
we
call
say
me
Kish Kish.
Akhil. You can call me Akhil, if not my full name. Sorry, I can't say that name. It's my first time listening live transmission on Blind Tech Guys and found to be informative. And once again, I thank you guys to answering my questions. Excellent.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Akhil. Very good.
Now I'm going to go through some feedback that we've received.
Ah, yes, the feedback form.
Yes, I'll go through some feedback that we received, and
We might have
then
got something from Lola on that one too.
yes,
Quite an interesting character, that one.
I might have deleted that, but I'm going to go through that form and talk a little bit about some responses that we received in terms of feedback, and then we have a new email address to give out to you guys, although the old one still works too. So what is that old email address, Marco? What is it, contact@blindtechguys.com?
Something like that, yeah.
Or is it email?
I think it might have been walker@blindtechguys.com or something.
Yeah,
that what
somebody
it was?
liked Walker. Yeah,
Yeah, Walker. I don't know.
I emailed you that. I think.
Yeah, you did.
From
I
that
did
address,
have a
you'll have
very
to-
good laugh. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the responses. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, this person does not want their feedback read out. So we won't read that one. Let's go next response. This one is from Tech Explorers. The first question says, what podcast content do you like most? Tech Explorers likes What's New in the News, App of the Week, Listener Emails, Interviews with Special Guests, Did You Know section, Demonstrations of Apps, Demonstrations of Pieces of Technology, and looks like somebody has left our chat. Who is that? Let's see.
Welcome back, Kirt.
Welcome back, Kirt.
Don't know what my phone was doing there, but
All right, what do you dislike about the presenters? Nothing is checked. That's good. What technologies would you like us to cover more on the podcast? Android is checked. Hopefully you'll be happy with us then, Tech Explorers, for covering Android today. Windows is also checked. And Linux is checked. And Chromebook is checked. Excellent. iOS is checked for what technologies would you like us to cover less of. Tech Explorers follows us on YouTube. No other feedback provided. So thank you, Tech Explorers, for that feedback. We'll take that on board for sure. Let's see. The next person to submit to us feedback is...
How many of these have we got?
Steve. Steve Nichols, looks like.
Ah, from Melbourne.
Yes.
Very good.
He likes What's New in the News, App of the Week, Listener Emails, Interviews with Special Guests, Did You Know section, Demonstrations of Apps, and Demonstrations of various pieces of tech. What do you like about the presenters or podcast in general? Both presenters are fantastic and very knowledgeable on their tech, and they can be quite funny, but at the same time can give good, honest, strong, honest opinions. Thank you. Okay, what do you dislike? The only slight negative opinion I have is that you guys always only refer to what things cost in American dollars, the American temperature, and the American time. Marco is an Australian presenter, and even though it can Google to find out what you are saying, there is no reason why Marco cannot say things in Australian dollars, Australian temperature, and Australian times. Don't get me wrong, I love your podcast, but a little more on both sides certainly would not hurt. Okay. And what technologies would you like to cover more of? He's checked Android, iOS, Windows, and that would be that. He wants us to cover nothing less of. Very good. And he follows us. He listens to us on YouTube. Now, in this feedback section, he says, this would have to be one of the best tech podcasts as you guys are honest and don't pull any punches. Love the honesty. When something is not good and when something deserves praise, you certainly give it. Hope you guys can do some podcasts on the Apple Watch, such as the new watch faces and changing watch faces. Keep up the great work, guys. Excellent. Thank you very much, Steve. We'll definitely take that feedback on board, and I'll make sure that Marco gives us Aussie prices.
Very good.
Let's see here.
I just thought I'd let you guys know that I'm making a coffee.
Ooh.
I started yawning. I thought I'd better make a coffee.
We got feedback from Kirt.
Oh, who's that?
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is.
Who's that guy?
Some dumbass.
He says this podcast sucks and you guys are horrible presenters. Now, why did we invite him on the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a remove button here. Should I push it?
you guys like the blunt honesty, huh?
You're not mincing your words there, are you?
Okay, so what podcast content do you like most? He checks a bunch of things, and then he also says anything that keeps that makes. What did he say? I just lost my focus. Anything that keeps Nimer from singing. Excellent.
Ah.
What do you like about the podcast in general? Obvious expertise and ability to simultaneously cater to both beginning and advanced users. Thank you.
And
Now, I'm reading this out because this was
singing.
Yes, thank you. Now, the reason I'm reading this out is Kirt is part of the podcast, but he was not part of the podcast when this feedback was received. So I want to make that very clear. I would not read feedback that someone on the podcast sent.
Right.
What do you dislike about the presenters and about the podcast? I can imagine some people being put off by all the accent parodies in today's hypersensitive climate. I personally find them amusing and have held off sharing the podcast with a couple of friends who are way too woke for humor.
Woke, Nimer.
Way too
Woke.
woke for humor. Okay, sorry, I missed the word. All right, so
Yeah, wake up.
I'll need some coffee.
Right, Marco?
Coffee. I'm from New Jersey. Yeah, very good. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know how I feel about that feedback now, honestly.
That's all right. It's probably good feedback.
It's good feedback. I think it's good feedback.
Let's see. In the other section of the next question says, I would love to have a chat with you guys about Linux accessibility and maybe have a podcast episode. Give an overview at some point. I understand if that's too niche for your mission, though. Not really. We're the blind tech guys,
well,
so anything
we cover
goes.
everything. Exactly.
Okay. In terms of covering less, iOS is there. It says, I think you're covering the right things. I hope you emphasize Android over the iOS. However, only because there are already so many blind Apple tech experts. Platforms.
I've kind of changed my mind on that too, honestly, thinking about it more, because iOS is a really good baseline for a lot of people who maybe don't know Android, or even people who do. It's always good to compare and be like, okay, how does this work on, I guess, a more stable platform?
Yeah.
So I would change that part a little bit now.
Please type any other feedback you'd like to provide. I'd like to be a silver member or something around the $10 to $15 a month range, but I couldn't find a way to do that in a few minutes of looking at the PodFan site. So what he's talking about is the donation section on our site. We do have a bronze tier, and the reason is I set it up, and I just wanted to see if we can get it working, and so I just picked a name randomly out of my butt, frankly. And
that was just a selection that you just went, we'll call it this.
Yeah, let's call it this. And so we'll probably end up changing that and maybe adding a few more tiers. But thank you for your donation, Kirt. And the other person who donated that at the moment, the name escapes me, but I did.
Patrick, wasn't it? Or
Patrick,
Pat or something?
there you go. Yeah. So thank you very much to both of you who donated.
Absolutely.
We certainly got our month, bills paid for December anyway. So very much thank you guys.
And the other thing, just going on, just to sort of go a little bit further with the membership stuff, it's a little bit hard to put tiers on it because we're not per se at this point in time releasing doing what some other podcasts do. Not all of them, but some podcasts will release stuff to their paid members. We're not really doing that at this point, so yeah, I don't know if we'll end up going with a tiered system. I guess that's something we'll talk about, but you can always...
No, that makes
you can
a
always,
lot of sense.
I guess if listeners have a value, they might find that the podcast, I don't know, is $3 in value to them. They can always do that every month, or they can do $1,000 every month like another podcast got. It's quite hilarious. It's incredible what different value people find on the same podcast. So there you go. Any more than Nimer, or we...
Yep, we got one more. I think we got
more?
one here from Connor Smith.
Oh, very good.
They like what's new in the news, app of the week, listener emails, interview with special guests. Pretty much everything is checked.
Yeah.
What do you like about the presenters? Nothing.
Good.
What do you dislike about the presenters?
Everything.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
What technology would you like us to cover more?
Nothing.
Android is checked. iOS is checked.
They're all going to be checked.
And nothing else is checked.
Oh, very good.
What would you like us to cover less of on the podcast?
Consequently, everything else should be checked, I'd imagine. No?
iOS is checked. I think it's checked under both. I have to look.
Yeah, very good.
And nothing else is checked.
That's hilarious.
He listens to us on YouTube and the Blind Tech Guy's website. And other feedback, nothing. Very good. And let's just make sure there's not one more.
No, there's not one more. I think that'll do.
Okay, yep, and this one I already discussed at the beginning of the podcast, the person that doesn't like me making fun of people. All right. So we've gone through our feedback. Now, if you'd like to leave us feedback, please go to that form, and that's also where you can do the giveaway. Again, we've talked about that. The keyword, again, is Bumba. Very good. And, I shouldn't use accents. And, our email address, contact@blindtechguys.com.
Contact?
Yep, I think that's it.
Oh.
Is that not?
No, it is. But I just realised we haven't got the podcast in there anymore. Everything is like symmetry now. It all matches up. Very good.
Yes, contact@blindtechguys.com.
Because reading out the old one was always difficult because half the time
Yes.
you forgot to read out the podcast bit.
That's right.
Half the time you did.
If you'd like to leave us an email, you can also still email blindtechguyspodcast@gmail.com. But contact at
just keep one out. Contact at Blind Tech
blindtechguys.com.
Guys. And of course, if
Works
it's
just fine.
easier for anybody that's looking for links, the best thing to do is just check the website. It's pretty much got which way that we can be gotten from, whether it be Facebook, Twitter. We haven't got Snackchat.
That's right. No Snack
What's
Chat.
the other one? What's the other one?
No
that we got?
Instagram. No Tinder.
We got Reddit. Have we put that up on the website? Probably not. Probably that's the one we're missing. Telegram, WhatsApp, they're all there. You can join them. You can be a part of the fun. We've got, I think, just over 100 on Telegram and 80-something on
Close to
WhatsApp.
90 on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is great. So feel free
We
to
got
join that. And
mailing
also the
list
mailing
as well,
list.
Blind
Yes.
Tech Guys plus subscribe at googlegroups.com. And now groups.io, it might interest some people, has decided now that they're going to increase their pricing, and they're changing their whole pricing model. Now, they state that people are grandfathered in from previous groups. But I have a problem with that because they keep increasing their pricing every year, it seems like. And they're at a point now where the pricing is so high that I would hate to sign up for one of their groups, groups.io, and then the developer or the guy that works on it, his name is Mark, decides, we're not grandfathered in anymore, and all of a sudden you have to figure out a new place to go to.
Yeah.
So I was a big fan of groups.io for a while. I'm much less so now. I'm a lot less keen on
Yeah,
on
but
them.
what's
I
going to
think they
happen?
have
Because
good
Google Groups
features,
doesn't
but
exist anymore, Nimmer.
I don't know where that rumor came from. I think it was passed along on some list called blind Android users
Oh.
from
Oh,
some
that
guy
thought
named
list.
Warren.
I
I don't
thought Google
know,
Groups
but
was dying.
no, Google Groups is not
Oh,
dying.
Blind
God, I
Android users.podsite.io. Whatever.
Yeah, no, we don't make fun of we're not making
Nah.
fun of them, but we are saying that Google Groups is not dead.
No, that was very well done there, Kurt. I couldn't have done a better job. Very good. No. And
You are more than welcome to check out their podcast, but if they do tell you that Google Groups is dead, it is not dead. So
No, Google Groups is well and truly alive, thank God. Because if it wasn't alive, there wouldn't be much alternative. And actually, speaking of Google,
well, there
what's it
is
called?
Freelist still exists as well.
Freelist still exists, but Google I/O, yeah, that actually, in my opinion, that's actually probably the best one out there in terms of what it can do. But it's certainly not the best one out there in terms of the price. My goodness.
No, yeah, I think they're
craziness.
charging something like 10 cents per member now or something,
Yeah.
plus another additional fee on top of that. It's kind of it's
crazy.
not it's not good. And their free groups are going to be limited to 100 members only.
Oh well.
So, for example, I own the NVDA group community that has about a bit over close to 1,400 members, a little bit
So
over
you'd
that,
be paying
actually,
over
close to
$100
1,500.
a month on that thing if you had.
Oh, it would be
all of that.
substantially
That's
more than
crazy.
that. Yeah, over
Yeah.
2,000 a year or something at least.
That's craziness.
So we're not going to be doing all that, and like I said, we're grandfathered in for now. But I'm still always looking out for other options. But this is why that our Google group that we've created, Blind Tech Guys, is not with Groups.io because I have some reservations about.
And that's not to say, and this is where we're pretty fair in the sense that I honestly think that Google's that Groups.io is a easier interface to use, but I'm certainly not willing to be paying 10 cents per member. That's just craziness.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
No thanks.
But anyway, if you'd like to talk about anything tech or just join our communities, please do that. We have the blindtechguys.com. We have the Zoom links up there. It is we just created that whole thing, set it up. So if you have any issues with the low vision side, screen readers, anything like that, let us know. We are somewhat limited in what we can do with the site because of our podcast provider. It's not an actual full site, but please let us know what we can do to make that experience better. And we will try to do that. It should be accessible. We started out with this podcast provider with everything unlabeled, and we got to a point now where very much it's accessible. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a
I want to
lot better
thank
than what it was.
Transistor
Yeah.
for that. Otherwise, we would not have made the switch. But
No.
we definitely want to thank Transistor for being willing to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, guys, Happy New Year. I guess we should say Happy New Year to everyone because it's
Yes,
the
Happy New
last
Year.
show
Thank you
for
for
the year.
hearing
Happy
us
New
waffle.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope everyone has a fantastic celebration. Obviously, we hope that you join us on the 30th at the appointed times. Check the website, blindtechguys.com. You'll find all the info on there. Nimer, as I said to you previously, it's been a pleasure working with you this year. And, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I'll go through some of these comments real quick before I say bye-bye. I wouldn't want to miss them. We do have a number of them. Harshid, LiDAR versus depth sensors. Remember, why are devs not using potential amazing usage? I'm not sure. You'd have to ask the developers. I would love to see depth sensors used more, but there are a lot of Android phones that don't have them, so they're still on very high-end phones. And to be fair, LiDAR is only on 2 phones so far, on 2 iPhones.
And the problem
so-
with the Android side of things is you've got thousands of different phones and
Yeah.
they're all different. It's very hard to make it work for everyone. Or, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I did get a message that a request to clarify that the Blind and Visually Impaired Androids Facebook group is separate from the Blind Android Users podcast, just because the names are very similar.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And you can join our Facebook group, too, but
Well,
that's
actually, our
a-
Facebook
that's a
group's got
funny
over
Facebook
100 now, which is kind of cool.
yeah.
Harshid also says, as people say that Android has better tech than LiDAR, I think LiDAR is very good tech. I have no problem with LiDAR. And Android tech is very fragmented in terms of cameras. There are depth sensors on some phones, but I think LiDAR is good tech. Google Pixel 4 has radar on the front camera, and Pixel 5 does not. So, I think it's very fragmented landscape.
But that's what you get from being an open source
Yeah.
landscape as well. So
Sneed can be a nice show. Yeah, Sneed Mobile Tech. Yeah, SMT Nation. That's right. They're gonna. He's agreed to come on, so we just have to give him a time. And as I said, maybe include that in your feedback if you're interested in talking about particularly mobile networks. We'll bring them on, and he's definitely keen on coming on. I
And
think
the other
that'll
thing
be a
that we
great
ask from
thing.
feedback as well is, I mean, obviously we like to cross-promote on various podcasts. We like to have different people on. So if you want to have somebody on the show, whether it be a guest or be another podcaster or whatever from another show, feel free to suggest away.
That's right.
Yeah, we're always happy to do that sort of stuff.
Bumba, yep, that is the word. Tech Explorer says hi. Hello, Tech Explorer. Thank you
Hello.
for joining us right at the end. Hopefully you'll
Vroom,
rewind
vroom.
and listen to the
Vroom,
word,
vroom.
although we just
Very
gave
good.
it to you.
Vroom,
Vroom,
vroom.
vroom. Thank you for joining us.
Good to have
And-
you on the show, mate.
In any case, we are wrapping it up now. I think we've been on a while
I think
waffling.
we've been on way on. It's been long. We're very
This
good.
is one of the longer
Wow.
podcasts.
This is I'm getting edgy. Let's go.
But we want to thank you guys for being on with us today. And we'll see you guys at our New Year's party, I hope. Again, 7
I hope.
a.m. or 7 p.m. UTC time. And you can email whatever your favorite mailing list to check what time that is. Thank you guys for joining us. And we'll see you on next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Happy New Year.
Oh, and happy Kwanzaa.